Sometimes the most excruciating heartbreak comes from the person you trusted most, the person you stayed awake for, the person whose pain you willingly took on as your own. You gave them your time and your energy. When everyone else in the room doubted them, you defended them. You traded your own peace of mind to ensure their survival. You operated on a specific assumption that care required sacrifice, and that a deep investment of loyalty would inherently be returned. By completely surrendering your emotional resources, you built an illusion of permanent connection, a belief that the bond was forged in stone rather than circumstance. This pivot occurs the moment they find better options or become strong enough to stand without your support. The shift is gradual. Replies get shorter. Phone calls drop off. Excuses for being busy stretch longer, until distance becomes the new normal. You are left staring at old messages, trying to reconcile the person who promised forever with the stranger ignoring you today. You search the timeline for a mistake that doesn't exist. You ask yourself if you cared too much, if you loved too deeply, or if you were simply not enough to make them stay. This emotional vacuum triggers a cycle of self-interrogation. You look for a failure in your own heart, unaware that the logic governing this shift is rooted entirely in their motives, not your adequacy. To understand the aftermath, we have to look past your perceived flaws and analyze the hidden mechanics of why they were there in the first place. This chart compares love as connection and love as convenience. In the convenience model, they require a constant supply of emotional strength. They call this love, but it is simply a need for your resources, securing your loyalty during their period of greatest need. The frequent texting and grand promises were the tools used to maintain this access. They were necessary investments to keep the support flowing until they no longer required it. Their presence was conditional on their own deficit. Once that deficit was filled, the reason for the relationship vanished. This leads to the most difficult realization. The person who left does not actually miss you. This flowchart defines emotional renting, accessing your psychological resources without long-term investment. They miss the utility of your effort and attention. They miss what you did, not who you are. When the resource is no longer required, the system resets, bypassing all reciprocity. The betrayal is the predictable end of an uneven transaction. You were born to be respected, not to serve as an emotional resource for someone who only sees your utility. Betrayal from a loved one changes you. It makes you quieter and more guarded, forcing a new level of caution regarding who you trust. Even so, your heart remains an asset. The world needs genuine people. The challenge is refusing to let a temporary visitor destroy your capacity for kindness. The necessary adjustment is learning to critically assess where you place your loyalty. It is a transition from giving it away freely to placing it where it is earned. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. You have the right to restrict that access from those who only seek you out when they are feeling empty. Boundaries act as a structural filter. They separate the rare people who value your character from those who only value your output. Breaking the cycle requires you to stop watering relationships that only survive on your effort. It means choosing to stop explaining your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. Choosing to walk away prioritizes your own survival. It represents the first tangible act of self-care. Losing a person is an acute, temporary pain.
Losing yourself while trying to keep them creates a chronic, devastating weight that lasts much longer. When a person's behavior changes because they no longer need you, it acts as a mirror. It doesn't reduce your value, it reveals theirs. Real love stays. It respects you long after the convenience ends. Relentless self-respect is the only foundation for a connection that actually lasts. Stay kind, but stay wise.